Hello everybody, and welcome to yet another video on the Warlock specific guide to each encounter in Blackrock Foundry on normal and heroic difficulty. As always, this is straight and Renner from the US Sargeras server, bringing you some recommendations for Operator Thogar. Today's spec will be Demonology. This guide aims to cover the talents, both offensive and defensive, the glyphs, both offensive and defensive, the useful add-ons, Warlock specific tips as they relate to the mechanics, the opener, general DPS knowledge, the final 25% of the fight, and Warlock specific tips to boost your DPS. If you'd like to skip to any particular portion of the video, feel free to click on any of the annotations you see on your screen now. With that said, let's get started. Let's take a look at the talents. As far as offensive talents go, there's really only one premier choice on this fight, Cataclysm and Grimoire of Synergy. With the frequency with which you'll be able to cleave multiple targets with your Cataclysm and Chaos Wave, this setup is simply the best. However, if this is progression for you in your guild, and you guys need more focus damage on the boss, feel free to pick up Demonic Servitude and Grimoire of Service. As far as defensive talents go, you can effectively argue in favor of either taking the on-use defensives, being Sacrificial Pact and Unending Resolve Unglyphed, or taking the collective passive 30% damage reduction. The pros to the on-use defensives is that it gives you some control in case you accidentally get hit by something you shouldn't have, such as a bomb or a prototype pulse grenade. However, I'd advocate taking the passive 30% damage reduction since there's such a consistent flow of damage going out on this fight, and the fact that all the environmental threats are easily avoidable. As such, you should take Soul Leech and Soul Link. Moving on to glyphs. As far as defensive glyphs go, the only thing of particular note is Glyph of Unending Resolve. Combined with Soul Link, this will give you a collective passive 30% damage reduction, a strong choice for a fight with such consistent damage output. Now, as far as offensive glyphs go, you can certainly note the Glyph of Dark Soul. This glyph is going to reduce the duration of Dark Soul from 20 seconds to 10 seconds, but in turn, reduce the cooldown from 2 minutes to 1 minute. Personally, I prefer using this glyph so I can get more buffed Chaos Waves out, as well as Cataclysm, without being stressed that Dark Soul will be on cooldown if I were to accidentally waste a charge. That said, you should take Glyph of Life Tap, to keep as little stress on your healers as possible, Glyph of Hellstone, since there's really no large spikes in damage on this fight, and Glyph of Dark Soul, to properly burst down the adds. Let's take a look at useful add-ons. For this fight, there's nothing particularly notable. Usually your Rayleigher will be calling out which lanes to head to, so there's not really a need for you to have a tracker. And besides, when in doubt, always look at the doors for which train is coming next. Looking at Warlock specific tips as they relate to the mechanics. Demonic Portal Summon and Demonic Leap are definitely your best friends here, as well as Burning Rush. The added mobility that Demonology brings to this fight makes it significantly more user-friendly. You should set your demonic portal in any given lane, or even in the lane that your group plans to split into, and use this frequently to quickly traverse the room. Additionally, use your demonic leap and burning rush to dodge ground effects, trains, and quickly kite the bombs away from your raid. Also, you can set your Felguard to passive, and manually sit him on the boss for the duration of the fight. That way you can ensure that when you command him to use Fellstorm, he's going to be in the center of the adds as opposed to being on the outskirts chasing some random mob. Let's move on to the opener. Since you're using Cataclysm, you'll want to do the following. Begin by pre-potting and properly pre-casting Soulfire on the boss. Just ensure that your cast goes off and is in the air before the tanks pool. Follow that up with a Shadow Bolt. Since you're not in combat, you want to avoid using any instant casts such as your dots. Then, once combat has officially started, cast Corruption on the boss. Immediately cast Hand of Gul'dan and go into Metaform to cast Doom. Quickly exit your Metaform and simply spam Shadow Bolt on the boss while refreshing one stack of Hand of Gul'dan. About 40 seconds or so into the fight, the first set of adds will come. This is one of the two largest packs and an ideal place for you to shine. Assuming your group is going to bring the adds to the boss, or a Death Knight will use Gorfreen's Grasp. While in caster form, simply start by casting Dark Soul and placing your Cataclysm under the boss. Only do this if you know the adds are going to be hit by it. If the adds are somewhat spread out, try to place your Cataclysm under the highest density pack of adds. If timed well, you'll land a strong Cataclysm on all the adds and the boss. Follow that up by immediately going into Metaform and dropping as many Chaos Waves as you can into the group. There should be at least 2 if you don't have the tier 17 4-piece bonus, and 3 if you do have the bonus. I recommend casting your Chaos Waves at Operator Thogar as opposed to the adds, so you can avoid any possibility of your target dying and you dropping your target. Additionally, if you do have the 4-piece bonus, continue to dump any extra Chaos Waves you get into the large pack of adds while you can. Let's take a look at some general DPS knowledge. Just because you've chosen Cataclysm doesn't mean you shouldn't still try to properly use your Soulfires. If there are no adds, and they won't be spawning anytime soon, continue to dump your Soulfires into the boss while your strongest DPS procs are up. Additionally, try to get as many mini burn phases in on the Man at Arms or the Firemender as they get under 25% health. Other than that, make sure you have at least 1 charge of Dark Soul every time you Cataclysm, and also make sure you got 3 stacks of Chaos Wave every time the adds come out. That's your top priority, unless this is progression and you need more focused damage on the boss. The final 25% of the fight is rather straightforward. You'll want to make sure you save your Doomguard for this point, and continue to spam Soulfire into the boss while cleaving all the other mobs with Chaos Waves. Lastly, we can look at Warlock specific tips to boost your DPS. There are a number of things you can do as a Warlock in this fight to significantly improve your DPS. The most vital thing is to maximize your target's hit by both Cataclysm and Chaos Wave, especially when they're buffed by Dark Soul and Trinket procs. Second, make sure you save your second potion for the second large pack of adds. The second big add train, that is. This train gives you a remarkable chance to blow all your cooldowns and showcase some intense DPS. Lastly, make sure every Cataclysm you do is in caster form. The only time you should forego the opportunity to put extra corruptions on adds is if your group bursts the adds down so fast that by casting in caster form, then swapping to metaform, you're unable to get all 3 Chaos Waves off. If that's the case, cast Cataclysm while already in meta, and follow it up by quickly blowing all 3 charges of Chaos Wave. Well, that concludes this guide to normal and heroic Operator Thogar. Thanks for watching. If there's a particular fight in BRF that you'd like to see next, let me know by leaving a comment below. I'll see you all in the next video.